Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're undertaking a mission that, well, many language learners find pretty daunting, and maybe even some native speakers too, right? Deciphering English news headlines. If you've ever scrolled past a news feed and felt like those short dramatic phrases were like some kind of alien code,
Yeah.
filled with missing words and sudden verbs,
Yeah.
you're definitely not alone.
No, absolutely not. That feeling of confusion is completely justified. But we're here today to offer you a huge advantage, really, our mission. It's to give you a kind of shortcut to understanding the unique language, the structure of journalism, and transform that, information overload into a really high-value language learning tool.
Absolutely. Because when you read a headline, it's not just facts, is it? It's like a masterclass in compressed language. We hear phrases like, markets take a nosedive, or politician under fire for remarks. Those phrases are just dense with meaning, idioms, implication. And if you don't quite catch the nuance, you feel totally lost.
Right. And the critical element here, I think, is that the news is just a gold mine of authentic, real-world English. It really is. It's packed with current idioms, powerful metaphors, and that specific short-form language that journalists use every single day. So by the end of this deep dive, you'll not only understand what we call headlines, but you should also feel ready, to confidently integrate some of that language into your own daily conversations.
Okay, let's start right there then. Why exactly should we think of the news as our, well, secret English teacher?
Yeah.
It can seem so dry sometimes.
Well, it really comes down to the authenticity. You see, most learners rely heavily on textbooks, which are great for structure, don't get me wrong. But news sources, they give you the English that people are actually using right now. In broadcasts, online, social media, it's the language of current events, of modern discourse.
And it's not just authentic, it's punchy, isn't it? Our sources point out that news English is designed specifically to be short, dramatic, full of flavor, really, to grab your attention instantly. Let's maybe take a specific example, one that illustrates this efficiency perfectly. The phrase, under fire.
Ah, good one. So if you see a headline like, government under fire for delayed emergency response, we instantly know this isn't literal. It's not a physical attack with, weapons. It means they're being subjected to heavy criticism, often widespread criticism.
Right, and here's where that efficiency comes in. A journalist could write, many people are criticizing the government severely. That's what, 6 or 7 words? But instead, they use the 3-word idiom, under fire.
Yeah.
And it communicates that huge idea of intense public pressure, much faster.
Exactly. It speaks volumes about the priority, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Impact over maybe pure, literal clarity sometimes. They prioritize maximizing the impact while minimizing the length. And that's actually a fantastic skill for any English learner to absorb. It teaches you how to sound more natural, more high level, rather than just, strictly correct.
Okay, this leads us straight into maybe the biggest sticking point for learners, which is that strange grammar, almost anarchic sometimes, and the mystery of all those missing words.
Yes, this is the core concept we really need to unpack. Headlines. And the key thing is, it's not poor writing. It's a specific, conscious style of grammar, used purely for speed and, frankly, efficient use of space. We can break it down into, say, 2 fundamental rules.
Okay, rule number 1, omission.
Exactly. Omission. Headlines routinely skip small, connecting words that a full sentence would normally require. This includes things like forms of the verb to be, so is, are, a, and articles like the or a, they just drop them.
Okay, so if we see a headline like Mayor opens new transit line, what's actually been left out there?
Right, so the full sentence, grammatically speaking, would probably be something like, the mayor is opening a new transit line. But they omit they omit is, and often they simplify the verb tense too. Here's another one. Negotiators seek resolution to dispute.
Ah, I see. Highly efficient. So the reader just sort of supplies the meaning like the negotiators are seeking a resolution to the dispute. It just communicates the core action immediately.
Precisely. And that ties right into rule number 2. The tense switch. Headlines very frequently use the simple present tense, even when they're describing an event that happened hours or maybe even days ago.
Why do they do that? What's the effect?
It's all about immediacy, making the news feel current dynamic.
Yeah.
So if the main stock index dropped 300 points yesterday, the headline this morning reads, stock index drops 300 points. See? It feels like it's happening right now, even though it's already in the past.
Or like if your favorite team won the championship last night.
Yeah.
The morning paper screams, team wins championship title. Not won't. It just generates more excitement, captures that dramatic moment.
Exactly. So the reassurance we want to give you, the listener, is this. That strange, clipped grammar. It's not an error you need to worry about correcting in your own everyday writing. It's a purposeful style choice used by professionals. And once you recognize that headlines is almost like a separate dialect, suddenly every headline starts to make a lot more sense.
Okay, let's put this system into practice then. We've got 3 examples straight from the sources to apply these decoding rules, starting with this tech headline. Tech giants race to develop smarter AI tools.
Okay, good one. So first we break it down. Identify the specialized vocabulary, tech giants. That specifically refers to the biggest, most dominant technology companies globally. Your Googles, Amazons, Apples.
Right, the big players. And race to develop. That uses a really strong action verb, doesn't it? It implies intense, swift competition. They aren't just working on it, they're racing, competing to be first.
Exactly. So combine those elements, and the full meaning is something like big technology companies are intensely competing to quickly create more advanced artificial intelligence tools. See how a 7-word headline unpacks into that much longer, complex concept.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, moving to something more local. Local hero saves child from flood.
A classic feel-good story structure. A local hero that's simply an ordinary person from that community, right? Someone who did something extraordinarily brave or good. And again, notice the omission. No articles needed. No a or the before local hero or child or flood.
And that simple present tense, saves, gives it that immediacy we talked about. Even though the saving itself is done, it just draws the reader right into the action.
Precisely. It grabs attention much faster than saying, a man who lives nearby saved a child from the recent flood. Much punchier.
Okay, finally, let's tackle a denser one, a business headline. Markets take a hit amid global uncertainty.
Right. This is where we catch a really crucial idiom. Markets, first off, usually means stock markets, the general economy. But the idiom is take a hit. And this one is vital to know. It simply means to suffer damage or a financial loss.
So it's purely figurative, not literal. Nobody's actually hitting the stock market with a bat.
Exactly. And the beauty of this idiom is how versatile it is. Once you learn it in a news context, you can apply it personally. You could easily say, oh, my vacation plans took a hit after I lost my wallet, right? Or my small business took a huge hit during the slow season. It translates directly from finance to everyday life.
It's becoming really clear that each of these single-line headlines is basically a condensed lesson, covering specialized vocabulary, grammar tricks like omission, and these common English idioms.
And it's interesting, too, that news is just superb for building vocabulary, because journalists tend to rely on a specific set of high-impact words, words that repeat across different articles, different topics.
Yeah, maybe we should list some of those power words. The ones learners should really try to internalize quickly. We constantly see words like officials, announce, urge, warn, or report.
Yes, those are the real workhorse verbs of journalism, aren't they? They convey complex actions very cleanly. And we also see frequent use of key phrases, things like calls for action, raises concerns, or issues statements.
Let's illustrate how that specialized language uses figurative meanings. Like if you read, the city council calls for action on public transport. What's really happening there? They're not literally phoning someone up.
No, exactly. They're formally demanding or asking people, often other government bodies or the public, to do something about the issue. They're declaring a need for movement, for change, not picking up a telephone.
Okay. And conversely, when you read something like, experts raise concerns over rising sea levels.
Right. They're expressing worry. They're highlighting a potential problem or danger. They're not physically lifting anything up, obviously. This metaphorical use of verbs like raise and call is really a hallmark of sophisticated English, and the news just presents dozens of examples every single day.
So the actionable tip here seems pretty clear. Learners should actively collect these recurring high-impact verbs like urge, warn, announce, maybe pledge or vow, and practice creating their own short, dramatic sentences.
Absolutely. It's instant, personalized application. You could write, maybe, students urge schools to improve cafeteria food. Simple. Or the mayor warns citizens about heavy traffic delays. You're building fluency by applying these authentic structures yourself.
Now here's where it gets, well, potentially really interesting. The fun side of headlinese, maybe. Because the language is so concise and often uses suggestion, it requires us to sort of read between the lines.
Yep.
But sometimes that conciseness backfires. Hilariously.
Yeah, that intentional ambiguity, while often useful for grabbing attention, can be helpful for language learners too. It forces you to practice context comprehension, right?
Right.
Guessing the deeper meaning from very limited clues. It basically turns every short headline into a kind of mini English puzzle to solve.
But sometimes, when those small connecting words are left out, or the word order gets really compressed, the meaning can get accidentally twisted in quite funny ways.
Right. And this actually raises a really important point. Why precise word order and including those tiny words like a or is matters so much in English. Let's revisit some of those famous examples of headline ambiguity. Remember this one. Kids make nutritious
Oh,
snacks.
the horror, yes,
Ah.
because they omitted the implied verb like eat or prepare, be. The literal reading suggests the kids themselves are the nutritious snacks being made.
Exactly. Completely flips the subject and the object.
Yeah.
Or that absolute classic, man eating piranha mistakenly sold as pet fish.
That one always makes you pause.
Instantly.
Was the man eating a piranha when the sale happened? Or was the piranha a species known for being man-eating?
That ambiguity, it's funny, yes, but more importantly, it brilliantly illustrates why small grammar differences in word order are absolutely crucial in English. Headlines is an advanced technique. Maybe use it with caution in your own writing, or you might end up implying your children are food.
Okay, good advice. All right, now that we've covered the vocabulary, the grammar, and those humorous pitfalls, let's establish a really concrete, actionable five-step system. Something you, the listener, can start using today to get the hang of news English.
Yes, this is the practical application part, and you don't need to spend hours. Just about 10 focused minutes a day can make a real difference.
Okay, step one.
Step 1. Pick one short news article daily, and ideally base it on something you already find interesting. Sports, entertainment, science, whatever. Your interest provides the motivation to stick with it.
Makes sense. Step two.
Step 2. Read the headline first, just the headline, then pause. Use the decoding rules we talked about, and try to guess the full meaning before you read the actual story. Treat it like a prediction exercise.
Okay, predict the story from the headline. Step three.
Step 3. Now read the article itself and highlight any new words, new idioms, and those unique headlinese grammar patterns you notice. Maybe keep a specific news notebook or digital file just for these.
Right, collect the examples. Step 4.
Step 4. Try to summarize the story in your own words, and reading it aloud is probably best here.
Why aloud specifically?
Well, because it forces you to practice pronunciation, right? And connect the ideas through speech, not just reading recognition. It helps translate that passive knowledge into an active skill.
Got it. Active skill building. And the final step, step 5.
Step 5. Discuss the story, maybe with a friend or a colleague. Or even write a short comment about the article in English online, on a forum or social media. This active application really solidifies the learning because you're forced to retrieve and use that new vocabulary or structure.
Okay, that system seems really comprehensive. It builds comprehension, speaking, writing, all at once.
Exactly. Headlines are truly like your concentrated daily dose of natural English vitamins. Seriously.
And beyond just the language boost, there's another benefit, isn't there? A substantial cultural bonus to reading the news regularly. It helps you understand the kind of cultural tone and assumptions of English speakers in different places.
That's a crucial insight, yes. We found real differences in rhetorical style mentioned in the sources. British news, for example, often employs heavy sarcasm, dry wit, or deliberate understatement in its reporting and headlines. You
Yeah.
really need to catch the subtle irony sometimes.
Right. Whereas American news tends to lean much more heavily on action words, maybe more drama,
Mhm.
and direct declarative phrases to capture immediate attention and perhaps simplify complex issues.
Precisely. So by reading varied sources, maybe a UK paper one day, a US site the next, an international wire service, you learn not just new words, but you start to absorb that cultural tone. And this really helps you sound more natural and informed in conversation yourself. Imagine casually dropping the phrase, "Oh yeah, government's under fire again," regarding the climate bill.
Hmm.
It instantly makes you sound like someone who's really connected to the English-speaking world.
So what does this all boil down to for you, the learner? I think the final takeaway here is pretty powerful. Headlines aren't these confusing enemies designed to trip you up. They're actually sophisticated, secret English teachers in disguise.
That's a great way to put it. Every single headline you encounter offers a mini grammar lesson, maybe an omission, or a new high-impact idiom, or just a real-life example of how English compresses information effectively. And learning through authentic, current stories is just inherently more meaningful, isn't it? It helps your brain make those crucial linguistic connections faster.
So maybe this raises an important question for you to consider tonight or tomorrow morning. What is the first headline you're going to decode? Try to make this decoding process a habit. Read one headline daily. Understand the grammar, decode the idiom, and then crucially, try using that new word or phrase in your own sentence later that day.
It's that small, consistent effort that will dramatically boost your fluency and your confidence. And perhaps just as importantly, it connects you more deeply to the global conversation that's happening right now in English. So keep reading, keep learning, and keep decoding.